We know that rehabilitation of both horses and riders is an integral part of racing. This is Peter O'Sullivan House, which opened in 2019 and since then has played a huge role in getting jockeys back in the saddle. Opened in August 2019, Sir Peter O'Sullivan House is right next to the British Racing School. It's one of 3 centres operated by the Injured Jockeys Fund, whose head of operations, Debbie Gray, explains more.
This is our newest facility. So based at the centre we have a clinical team who support the jockeys from a physical perspective. You will have seen our facilities including the hydrotherapy and gym and our strength and conditioning coaches plus our physios who work from the one side of the building. We then have our back office of support staff who make sure that all our bills get paid and our beneficiaries are well looked after. And then we also have our welfare team. We have a centre liaison based here, and their role is to act as a go-between between the clinical staff and the beneficiary themselves to make sure that absolutely every point of contact is covered and we offer as much support and help as we can. Because although when you come into a building like this you can see very visually the help from a physical perspective, what you don't see so often is what goes on behind the scenes.
Sir Peter O'Sullivan House has state-of-the-art equipment to help deal with physical injuries. But that's not all it caters for, with the mental side of racing increasingly being addressed.
So if somebody is in trouble or is struggling with life in general, we have a team of welfare officers who will just sit down and say to them, how do we help? What do you need? And really get to know them and get under the skin of what their issue might be and see where we can help. That might be from a financial perspective, just helping them out if they're injured and they're not getting their full wages, for instance, or they may have had an injury and not been able to afford an unexpected expense. We also help a little bit with medical expenses if necessary, but also if they're struggling with rent or just living generally, we will look at the situation and see where we can help make sure that they're getting all the statutory benefits that they're entitled to. Also, we will liaise with anything after an injury when there's a protracted period of rehab, make sure that their families feel supported through that as well. And additionally, we have a very, very big mental well-being offering. We have a clinical psychologist based at each of our centres every week, and we work very closely with an organisation called Changing Minds, who have helped us with our mental well-being strategy. And one of the things that we're trying to really look at is not just the jockey themselves, but also the wider family that supports the jockey and how we can actually help them understand what a jockey goes through as an elite athlete and educate them in the best way possible. And this may be a jockey's partner, their agent, the valet, the trainer, anyone who has sort of a touch point with the jockey. We're trying to say if you notice that things aren't right or you're concerned about them, how do you have those conversations with them? And then with us, how can we best help support jockeys through that time? And the one thing I think is really important to know is that it's not just when a jockey has their licence, it's from the day they get their licence through to retirement and way beyond.
As part of the Injured Jockeys Fund, the source of funding for the centre is a constant worry for those at the top.
So as a charity, we don't get any donations from the industry itself. We rely 100% on charitable donations, and it costs about £11,000 a day to run our centres, so almost £4.5 million a year. And we've had some very, very generous benefactors who've given money for that, but we raise money constantly as well through some of the Christmas cards that we sell. We have a marketing team led by Paul Taplin who have an amazing online store that helps us actually raise money so that jockeys don't pay when they come in and get any of their service. If they have private medical and some of that is picked up, that's great, but otherwise the rest is completely free to them. And that counts for when they've retired as well. So it's not just looking after jockeys when they're at the height of their performance, it's looking after them for the rest of their lives.
One of the centre's regular users is up-and-coming apprentice Gav Ashton, who had just started a new job overseas when disaster struck.
I'd just started my new job in Germany. Been offered a great job out there, stable jockey to 2 yards, Blueheim, Nova de Rostek and Eva Fabanova. Looking forward to about 80 horses to go out through the season, and on my first morning over there, after a winter in America, I broke my leg on the second lot I rode. So yeah, it wasn't the best of starts, but it's only a minor setback. It could have been a lot worse timing. I could have been halfway through the season, and also it could have been a lot worse. I could have been in a wheelchair. So luckily, it's only a broken leg, and I'll be back in no time. It's fantastic to be able to have these facilities right on your doorstep here in Newmarket, and everything that you need is sort of here, so it's great. While I'm sort of like out injured at the moment, I just dedicate my full time to this. I'm here all morning from Monday to Friday. I start here at 8:30, straight in the pool, then I have physio for 45 minutes, and then I come in the gym and work on fitness where I can. They try and stay away from pain, so like when I'm in pain, they'll sort of adapt things for me. I mean, I push myself as much as I can. Like, I've now got good range of movement because I sort of push myself through that. But they're very good at sort of adapting when things get tough. They'll make it easier and get me through it, and then go from there. So but the training wise, I absolutely love to keep me fit and get me back in the saddle as soon as possible, hopefully.
Gavin's sessions are long and gruelling, but he isn't losing sight of his ambitions.
I did 3 months with Graham Motion at Palm Meadows, which was absolutely fantastic. I got to know the place well. I made some good connections over there, and I'm hoping to go back to America in the winter again. I've got a good visa sorted out now, and it's just weighing up where to go, really. I'm not sure whether to stick with Palm Meadows again and give it a go in Gulfstream, or sort of go to New Orleans and Fairgrounds. So it's a nice problem to have, to decide between them 2 places. But I just hope for a good season in Germany, hopefully get my first Group 1 ride under my belt, and then kick on from there.
You're very ambitious and you like travelling.
Oh, I love travelling, yeah. I mean, well, I'm young, I've got no commitments here, I've got no ties holding me back, so I feel as though, well, I'm young and these opportunities are there, I've got to take them and see where I end up. So fingers crossed it all goes well.
Gavin's inspirational attitude should serve him well in the future, as will Peter O'Sullivan House, here for the racing community for many decades to come.